This is Kung Pao Enter the Minute, Minute 23. Opening frame. We continue on a close-up of the Chosen One as his scowling intensifies. Cutting to a beaded curtain, the mayor and Master Pain enter into a room. Always the great magician, Master Pain's robes disappear between the cut as the mayor makes some gestures to the crowd to announce that Master Pain
will perform his skill.
Right of screen, we observe a new skill from the Chosen One, the art of disguise, as he walks with the rest of the crowd, unnoticed by everyone else. We cut to outside in the courtyard as Master Pain is trailed by 4 men in black clothes holding poles, obviously in case they find some citizens they need to beat up. The 4 men surround Master Pain and stand at the ready to attack, Master Pain himself seemingly looking relaxed at this, but that could be just the effects of seeing a Hooters sign. One of the men attacks, sending several strikes to his upper torso. However, Master Pain doesn't respond and barely moves. Another of the attackers casually strolls in front of Master Pain. A shot between his legs and an ominous angle suggests where that pole is going to strike. Content warning for those watching this on YouTube. This might cause some men to instinctively cross their legs as they feel what is about to happen. In other words, plumb distress. We cut to a close-up of Master Pain's crotch as he receives several blows to his little master. However, as it quickly pans up, we see that he is unfazed by the repeated strikes. A quick cut to a wide shot as we now see all of his group as attacking him from various angles, Master Pain holding his arms up seemingly to allow better access for the poles. This continues on for almost 20 seconds of quick cutting between the various strikes. The numerous blows to Master Pain set the scroll, leaving the Chosen One absolutely dumbfounded, the dog surprised, and the rest of the crowd kind of unmoved. The group of men almost simultaneously break their poles on or over Master Pain, and all together to take one shot at stabbing him with their snapped ends. Master Pain winces only slightly, but this seems to be a ploy to move his body in such a way to smash away all the attack in one deft move, sending them flying through the air. As we approach the closing frame, Master Pain asks for his as the audience applauds his demonstration. Oh, quickly before we start, I've just found out that this is going to be my 100th video on YouTube. I mean, this is, 23rd episode of Kung Pao. I got plenty of other stuff out there, and I just so happens to be featuring one of my favorite people of all time. So, yay for me. You can celebrate with me by going to my YouTube and subscribing. That's a bad plug, but you want to hear what I have to say about this dumb film, and I have a special guest to get on with this dumb film, so please listen to past me. Go ahead, Simon. For these, and hopefully the next few minutes, I am joined by my good friend Jon Goon, international cosplay superstar.
Pooey, no. Hell no.
You're more popular around the world than I will ever be. So, for our dear viewers, please tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I know some of it, but what's your background? What are you doing right now? All the juicy details.
All right. So hello, I'm John. So basically, I was pretty much really into the whole cosplay scene. Then COVID kind of hit, so all the all the conventions have been canceled, and it's been kind of crap.
That's everywhere at the moment.
Yeah. I used to study and work a little bit in Perth back in the 2010s. Then I went back home to Malaysia to set up a company and stuff like that.
I used to work with you for at Helios E.
Yes.
May it come back one day, probably when the world's a little less crazy.
We'll see.
But you're currently working at a theme park.
Yep. Currently, I work at Genting Skyworlds. So for those who don't know, Genting is Malaysia's only super mega casino place, and they've built a theme park, like a really really big one. Well, 2 theme parks actually. That's the indoor theme park and the outdoor theme park, and I helped to run both.
That's pretty cool.
I was actually called 20th Century Fox World, but
until Disney happened.
yeah. So now it's called Sky Worlds. So So because it's up in the sky.
And it has nothing to do with Fox whatsoever. Not at all. It has no proprietary costumes or characters whatsoever. Nudge, nudge.
The funny thing is we actually do still get to keep the IPs. So like
Okay. I was wondering about the legal grey area there.
no, the thing is like yeah, we do get still keep some of the IPs, just not like all of the IPs. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You don't get all those illustrious characters like the X Men mutants from like all those really popular films like Dark Phoenix. No, I have seen some of your work. Well, of course, I've seen some of your work. I mean, we've been friends for a few years now, but I've seen some of your from the theme park stuff, and like, because isn't it you've got the what's his face from Ice Age, the what's it the not the buffalo, the
The mammoth,
mammoth,
the mammoth,
Manny?
Manny the mammoth.
Yeah, and that was pretty impressive. So yeah, check out Jon's work on all the various things. I mean, I'll probably put some links on here. But more importantly, we're here to talk Kung Pao, and probably more specifically, a character I know we both love,
Yeah.
Master Payne, the evil Betty.
No, it's Betty.
And also, that's the other reason I've got Goon on for these minutes, because he is the great impersonator of this character. So it is a tradition from what I found out about Minute by Minute podcasts is when we get a guest on is we have to ask, how did you come upon this film? What's your secret origin story
Oh
regarding Kung
hell!
Pao?
Secret
A tough
origin
one.
story for Kung Pao. I think it actually might have been you guys. Like you and I forgot who else.
Because I can only think of the only time I've seen this movie with you was when we were at
Adam's
the
place.
house. No, the only time I can remember is when I saw it with you at the house you were sharing in Malaysia in what's it, Peeling Jail?
Yeah, PJ. No, but we did watch it like
We
in
introduced we introduced our other housemate next onto that. I don't recall seeing it before with you though. Maybe I did. I just don't recall it. But
no, but we did watch it in Perth.
okay,
Oh, fuck.
I just can't remember when.
Okay, I think it was around 2011. 2011.
Jeez, was it
That's
that long ago?
yeah. 2011 when we watched it because I was like do you remember I was doing that stupid short film thing that about
Oh,
for uni, and then I was like, shit, I gotta find some funny kung fu things, and then you're like, oh, check this out, check out Kung Pao. I'm like, what the hell is that? And
oh
thing
God, I
is,
can't remember.
yeah, but the thing is about Kung Pao is that like I've seen gifs of the Matrix cow scene before when
Yes,
I was in high
yes.
school when I was still in high school. So I was like, oh fuck, that's where it's from. Oh my god.
I think more people know about the Kung Fu, the Matrix cow scene more than they know about the actual movie because
Yes.
it still pops up. Like,
Yes, it is. It is. It still is.
yeah, even on Facebook now and again, you'll just see like the you'll just see the fucking cow gif, all the sequence just edited out, no context whatsoever. And then
Yep.
people are just like, oh, check out this funny thing,
Yep.
and there's now the additional cringe value because people are like, going, oh, look at these shitty special effects. Like these were well, okay, they weren't cutting edge for the time. This was a low budget film comparative to all the other digital effects at the time, but it was still quite impressive for what they
Yep.
did.
Yep.
Yeah, 2001 when Matrix memes were still hot.
But yeah, 2011. I think that's when I first found out.
Okay, you as people might not have registered from your vocal performance and the fact we mentioned you're from Malaysia, you are of Asian descent. So was there part of your growing up is watching a lot of these kind of like action martial arts choppy socky kind of films or?
Oh yeah, all the ching chong ting tongs.
Hey, you said it, not me. Not, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, as a kid, like growing up, I used to watch like tons and tons of like Hong Kong,
Hmm.
Canto flicks, kung fu movies, stuff with like
Yeah.
Bruce Lee in them. John
Mm.
Woo, the Jackie Chan's early films. Like
Yeah,
one
Jackie
one
Chan's. Yeah.
one film you should really check out from Jackie Chan is City Hunter.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, so check out City Hunter because it's not only a Jackie Chan film, like and one of his earlier ones, it's also
Mm.
based on an anime.
Oh.
It's an anime that was turned into a Chinese film, so
Oh wow.
live action film. So it is really funny. Yeah,
I say that like that's a thing that's never happened before. Yeah, there's been plenty of live action adaptations. I think they tend to fare better than most Hollywood live action adaptations, to be honest.
we don't talk about Dragon Ball Evolution here.
Yeah, that was a Hollywood. No, that was a Hollywood film. We actually don't talk about Attack on Titan, but part of me really, really wants to.
Check out City Hunter if you want to see Jackie Chan dressed up as Chun Li.
You made okay. That's the selling point from now on. Don't care about Jackie Chan. Just Jackie Chan dressed up as Chun-Li. You have to watch it now.
Yeah, Jackie Chan is just dressed up as Chun Li, and one more is Super Cops. If I remember, Super Cops. It's got
I think I watched Super Cop once. That was a long time ago.
it's got some of the funniest Street Fighter and video game parodies of ever. It's like, and it's got like a mix of Terminator and Judge Dredd inside as well. It's super funny.
I might be thinking of something else, but I'll have to definitely try and check that out.
Yeah. Super Cop.
So were you familiar with like the dubbing genre, or at least dubbing for comedy genres? Because I would imagine you weren't getting like what we would get over here, and I'd dare say like in other English speaking characters, we'd get the movies recut and redubbed. And there'd always be an English version because, heaven forbid we actually have to read anything in Western cultures. So sometimes they would tweak the stories and sometimes they wouldn't. But, okay, so my favorite Jackie Chan redub film is, I think it's called Mr. Nice Guy. I don't like the film. The film is terrible. It's boring as hell. But it was shot in Australia with Australian actors and then redubbed. I think Jackie was speaking English at that point. I think by that stage he'd hit primetime in America with like Rumble in the Bronx and stuff like that. But they shot this movie here, and for some reason they'd never used the original audio track. So it's like people speaking English, but the timing on their voices is all out of whack, and it's fucking weird. They're speaking English, but their mouths are moving right, but there's just this disconnect.
Ah, yes, the great lip flaps.
So I'm guessing that's not something you would have especially got. I mean, so the original Tiger and Crane Fist was in Mandarin.
Yes.
And so I imagine you would have, like, all those Hong Kong movies and all that, they would have been in Mandarin as well. Or Cantonese or something like
and
that.
stuff like that. Yeah. So like I think the only stuff that like the whole redubbing kind of stuff that I have encountered is the redubbing of cartoons and stuff into our
Oh, like
yeah
oh god, was it Dragon Ball Z abridged?
Oh, yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh abridged and all that type of stuff. Okay.
into our language. So like imagine, but with the worst voice actors I've ever heard. Like and the thing is, it's yeah,
Like early video gamer.
worse than that because actually rewatching the show like many years. Okay, imagine this. I watched One Piece. The first time I watched One
Okay.
Piece, the anime was in 1999, 2000.
Wow. Because that's still going, or has it just stopped?
No, it's still going. It's like episode.
Yeah, because
Eight-
there's like
900
5,000 episodes or something
Yeah.
for One Piece.
Oh yeah. So I watched it in 99, 2000, like that. The show actually debuted in Japan in 1998.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when Singapore TV finally got the license, it came in. They brought it into their one of their kids channels. So literally called Kids Central. So that's one of the channels that
Okay.
I grew up with. It's same like in Australia of like Channel 7, Channel 9, stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
it's Kids Central. It's purely
Yeah.
9 a.m. 8 a.m. till
Mhm.
6 p.m. No, 8 a.m. to 7
Yeah.
p.m. kids shows nonstop. Yeah.
Usual kids' time slots.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's something I never really experienced growing up in England or in Australia. It was always the kids' time slots was always like like say 6 till 8 on a weekday because kids go to school, and then like you'd be like half till or 3 o'clock till 4 or 5 o'clock would be afternoon cartoons.
Oh
There was
yeah.
not an actual gigantic block, or because we never had pay TV or anything, so there wasn't dedicated channels and that type of stuff when I was growing up. But I must admit, I would be glued to the TV whenever cartoon time was on, and you'd always switch around to the different channels because they always had different ones you wanted to watch.
Yep.
And that's you get that great. I haven't really talked about it that much on the show, but one of the things, like thinking back to the day, it could never occur to me that this was just a dub. It was just a weird cartoon. Was Samurai Pizza Cats.
Oh god, yes.
And
We had that as well.
did you get the original version, which was kind of slightly serious, or did you get the filthy Gasian version that the US got, which is completely recut, completely redone, and utterly fucking insane?
We got the US one. We got the US one.
It's so mental.
We also got Ronin Warriors,
Oh, I don't recall that one.
which is a redub of the Japanese one. We got a lot of crappy US redubs like Flint the Time Detective, and like Moncoli Knights, and of course the like I was saying
Oh.
earlier, the shitty One Piece dub, which was not dubbed by the US. It was dubbed by a Singaporean company that had no experience dubbing. So so imagine like the character sounding completely different from what they actually sound like. And all those years I'm like, okay, this is how the character sounds like. And then like actually watching the
Yeah.
actual Japanese voice, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is this?
I kind of get that with Neon Genesis Evangelion
Oh
because,
yeah.
when it was on over here, there wasn't the dub version. It was just on SBS. It was on like SBS Weekly. They screened that for almost like 2 years solid.
Yep.
Like it's only like 13 odd episodes, but like they just kept running it back to back to back. It was that popular. So like my mental voices are all the English cast, like Spike Spencer and Tiffany Grant and all that. And so I've tried to listen to the original dub because there is slight differences in the language, like from what I've seen of the dub and the subs.
Oh yeah.
But I can't do it. I can't. I'm just like, no, these are these voices.
It's like these aren't the voices that I grew up with. Yep. Exactly.
I was technically a fully grown adult, but it still doesn't help.
That's the same problem that I had with the Digimon dub, because
Oh,
I grew up with the Singaporean dub, and then like when Digimon the movie hit, which was
oh wow.
the US recut version, because that hit
Yeah.
in cinemas back here. So it's like, and when I went to watch it, I was like, oh my god,
What the fuck?
they
Yes.
sound like, those American cartoons I watch, not the ones that I watch on this Kids Central show. It's like, well, who are these people? And
Oh wow.
me and my brothers, our thinking back then was like, oh, so they couldn't get like the original actors, so they had to like get like American actors because
Yeah.
they're gonna show this in America. And the funniest thing was that the Digimon movie had a tie-in with another cartoon called Angela Anaconda, which is one of the shittiest
Okay.
paper cut flash cartoons ever. And it's all these weird ass American kids and stuff like that. And like, we're gonna watch the Digimon movie. And with
Oh
Angela,
wow.
ma, Digivolve too. And it's like, what the hell is this?
Just for clarification, was the Singapore redub done in English
Yes.
or?
Yes, really shitty English.
Wow. Oh my god. I'm. Because okay, forgive my ignorance. I have, of course, I've lived in Western countries most of my life, bar 5 months. So it's one of those things where it's not. I'm trying to say it's an automatic default, and like it was in English. I'm thinking, well, hang on. If it's a Singapore release, was it redubbed into something else? But then you say about that, it's like, oh no, they dubbed it into English.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds both amazing and terrible.
Did you know that the Singapore dub of One Piece is recognized worldwide still now as number 2 in the world's worst dubs of all time?
I did not know that. I'm kind of curious and kind of
I'll find you a clip. It's bad. Ugh, bad.
I'm kind of curious to know what number one is. but I'm thinking it's probably something American. No, it's funny because like there was a few shows like I didn't get to see like Robotech that much in that when I was growing up because that was a show that was popular more in America and I think it was popular here, but it had finished its run by the time I emigrated. So I didn't get to see that many shows, but like shows like Battle of the Planets and stuff, I didn't realize were, it's one of those things. Sometimes your little brain goes, yeah, the animation's different, but it's still a cartoon.
That's why when I first watched Transformers and He-Man and
Yeah.
stuff like that, they're all done by Japanese animation studios.
No, He-Man was actually 100% American.
No. Sorry, Transformers.
Transformers
Was
was,
done.
yes.
Yeah, and real Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of animation especially in the 80s was animated in Korea, even though the productions were American. He-Man was the actual exception. It was, funnily enough, of those big 80s cartoons, it was animated in America, and that actually is why He-Man is actually one of the most expensive cartoons produced at that time. It's also one of the reasons why they recycled the hell out of all the cells, because they just couldn't afford to keep paying the animators to produce new animation.
That's why it's so janky. It's so
Yes.
janky.
So it was one of those things where like we're gonna keep this in America and not have it go off being farmed off to Korea, and it ended up. I mean, it was a beautiful looking show in many ways, but the animation's really kind of terrible. just from an animation point of view, it is it's janky as hell, and like those same repeated walk cycles, like the He-Man running towards the screen run cycle, and the above the shoulder close-ups are almost exactly the same in all the shots, and it's just like, oh wow, they cut and pasted the hell out of this. So yeah, we're going back to Kung Pao. This is the minute, even though we've had Master Pain turn up several times before, and this is kind of the minute where we get the infamous pole attack scene, and it's it's ridiculously over the top, and I love it. And it's clearly one of those things where they edited way more attacks into it. And I've got to ask, when watching this kind of thing, is this one of those movies where you just go, "What the fuck is this guy putting me onto? This is absurd." And what's even funnier is that I didn't notice it until just going through this. There's a Hooter sign in the background of one of the shots.
Oh yeah, there is. Yep.
There's really not much going on beyond just pure comedy. It also ends with the infamous towel.
Tower.
Towel.
That's your tower.
So yeah, I have to ask, what was your impression when is this is kind of, I think, one of the reasons I love Betty, like the character, is just this whole scene is just like so absurd, and then you get that voice, like, this is this badass, and then you get that voice.
So like when I first watched this bit, it's like yes. And now Master Betty here show his power. And so it's like he comes out like, yeah. And it's like whack. I'm like, okay, typical
Yeah,
the bad guy.
the crotch shot.
Yeah, so like he's I thought he was gonna like grab the poles and like fling them and then stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
But it's like then crotch, and then like and then the dog. The part that got me was the dog.
The dog who just keeps appearing out of nowhere and then disappearing back into the ether. He's there where he needs to be.
Then it's like when they get whacked. Then it's like tower. It's like oh shit. Yeah, that's it. I lost it.
It's just too absurd sometimes, but it's like, oh my god. So I can't remember if I was talking about this with Connor or not, but it's that thing where, in comedy, it's something can be repeatable and then not funny.
Oh yeah.
But the trick is, if you want to do it right, you got to keep pushing the repeat until it's funny again.
Yep.
And then kind of stop.
There's a fine line between repeating it too much and repeating it not enough.
Yeah. And it's it's a fine balance. And I think Odenkirk has said there's like 4,000 cuts of this movie, so you got to imagine they spent maybe a solid month wondering how many times they got to hit that crotch. Do you know any other movies that are kind of like this? Not necessarily, and I want to look at it from a different perspective, like any kind of absurdist comedies in this kind of style or in this kind of genre that aren't, because there's not many. There's not many Western ones. There's one of my favorite movies is Hercules Returns.
Oh yeah, Hercules Returns,
which is an Australian one. I'm not sure if I've subjected you to that one or not.
No, I've watched it. You made me watch it.
Did I?
Yes. It is funny.
Remember.
It is funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really funny.
There's been a few attempts in American cinema, like they've done some recuts, but no things like this level. The other one that comes to mind that takes this kind of approach is Ninja the Mission Force, which I've also talked about. I'm just wondering, is this just a thing that happens with like Western comedy, like the idea of like, let's take this thing, manipulate the fuck out of it, and make something, take something that's deadly serious, because that's the thing. Tiger and Crane Fist is a serious film.
Yes.
And just make it go completely fucking in the opposite direction.
So in Asian cinema, like on our side, like I'm pretty sure there isn't any film that like there are lots of films that do parodies of other stuff, like City Hunter and stuff like that. But there are, I think, almost zero. There is probably no film that is literally a recut. Like it takes another film and completely recuts it into a comedy or of some sort and like redubs the entire thing, like what Kung Pao does. They're not here because it could be considered. I think it is considered a dishonor. So it's like you're taking someone else's work and like making fun of it.
I hadn't thought about it like that.
So it's showing disrespect to the director and the actors and stuff who worked and all the crew who worked on that film. It's like, hey, look, I'm making fun of your film because it's crappy. Look at this stupid scene. I'm re-editing it like that to make it funny. So it could be like, oh, what the hell, man? That's not cool.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty funny if someone like from another country took something like, say, Citizen Kane, like this highly regarded film, and just completely lampooned the fuck out of it.
Oh yeah,
and twisted it to a local standard.
I mean, there is also like Backstroke of the West.
Backstroke of the West.
Have you not
What's
seen
that?
that? So it's
No, I don't.
Star Wars Episode 3, Episode 3, 1, 2, 3. Star Wars Episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Translated into Chinese and then translated back into English.
Oh, I know about the redub, not the redubs, but the retranslation stuff. Like some of that stuff's absolutely wild. But I hadn't heard about someone recutting the prequel trilogy. Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
No, so it's not recut. It's just a film, but with the with the shitty subtitles properly done over it, and someone doing all the voices. So it's like a Darth Vader's no becomes do not want.
Oh my god, that sounds absolutely amazing. It is funny how like remix culture is a thing now on the internet, like memification and all sorts, but like, speaking of episode 3, the prequels in general, I love how like my generation wouldn't do that type of stuff, like at least regarding the prequels, because I'm probably the generation where it's like, let's face it, the stereotypical angry white nerd who hates SJW bullshit. I'm not one of those. But like the people who like, hold Star Wars to this sacred height. And I was disappointed with the prequel trilogies, I'll be honest. But I didn't hate them as much as other people did. As much as people hate the new Disney films, especially. But I see the younger generation and how they've, for lack of a better term, appropriated the prequel trilogy and have memified the fuck out of it. It's kind of great. Because you're just there going, yeah, Star Wars is pretty silly.
It is.
We should appreciate the silliness of this.
Yep.
Stop holding it to this standard. Have some fun of it. Oh, I just remembered. I think it was announced when I was in... Unfortunately, there's no news on this, but it was announced when I was in Malaysia that Steve Odenkirk was working on a sequel to Kung Pao. And unfortunately, I double-checked, there's no new news on that.
No, there will never be new news on that.
The last I heard, he was looking at redubbing a Western as opposed to making another martial arts film, which, to be pretty honest, the dude's 20 years older. He's probably not going to be as buff as he was. Because that dude got ripped for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't fake. There's a lot of fakery going on, but the abs weren't.
I don't know if he's got it in him to get ripped again.
Probably not, but
Unless he goes on the Marvel diet and Marvel regimen.
Oh god. Just trying to think what character I would love to see Steve Urkel be in a Marvel movie. Oh my god, the only character I can think of off the top of my head would be Four Bushman. And I know that's complete bias on my part, but I just can't think of anyone that's really that silly in the Marvel universe.
I mean, Alan Tudyk did an amazing job in Doom Patrol.
Yeah, but that's not Marvel.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, the only person I think could be that Steve Odekert could pull off is Mr. Nobody.
Oh, I need to get around to watching Doom Patrol.
Oh, it's good shit. It's good shit.
I really don't have much more to say on this particular minute, because I think more the juicy stuff is in the next two, to be honest.
The big tail, my tails.
Yeah, we'll get. So let's move on to the next one. Thank you for joining me in this minute. I hope you'll stick around for at least another minute's worth of Kung Pao action.
More minutes.
More minutes. So I'll just turn to myself and read on the other things that I usually do. One thing I didn't mention when I was talking to my friend John is that in one brief shot, if you know what you're looking for, you can actually see Master Tang in the foreground. But let's forget about that. Let's talk about the audio commentary. Or more specifically, let's cut to Stephen Paul talking about possibly the best character in this entire film, Master Pain.
And here enters the man.
He hasn't. Oh, he spoke. That's right.
Lung Fei is Betty's real name, and again,
great face, great bad guy.
Sure, he's somewhere in Hong Kong. We weren't able to find him.
And Stephen, this honestly, the reason you picked this movie out of hundreds was this particular
pretty
scene.
Much this guy in this scene.
Guy.
I mean, what Jimmy Wang Yu did when he shot the original film, and we recut for comedy, and to get laughs, but. This was just I thought this was one of the best villain setups of all time. I mean, this is all old footage, recut by us, but basically all of these shots, including that big whack in the crotch shot between his legs, is all in the original footage. So once again, we're at a part of the movie where it's all old footage with the Chosen One digitally pasted on. But so there's really no dialogue in this scene, so here's some sound effects. Come on, there's only one thing the audiobook is going to be able to say.
Towel?
So that is it. Once again, I'll thank my friend Jon Goon for joining us on this crazy minutes and having to endure all those rather intensive blows repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. As always, you can find the audio version of this on Simplecast, Apple, Google, Spotify, and some other things that I think I've registered for, but not really getting much traffic, so the metrics aren't really out there. If you want to see the video version of this, it's on YouTube. Either way, go subscribe to the one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You can care if you want, but I have Patreon, I have Ko-Fi. Not that 20 odd episodes didn't not seen a single cent for that, so no big deal. But seriously, please share it, enjoy, and I'll see you next time.